Chosen one, the timing of this message is not random. It's a sign that the shift has already begun. This message was woven by forces beyond mortal sight to align with your awakening. Your soul noticed before you could even ask why you were drawn here. What if I told you the truth you seek has been waiting for your eyes all along? You won't believe this until you feel it in your bones. You have sensed that looking too close at others can burn you. You have felt the pull of hidden truths forming in your mind. This video will show you why they vanished when your vision pierced their masks and how your gift is rewriting every bond you've ever known. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with us because what follows will change the way you see every face in the room. The spiritual cost of seeing too deep. In the hush before dawn, you find yourself wandering through a half-remembered dreamscape where flickering candles cast strange shadows on ancient walls. In that silent corridor, a voice whispers your true name, one you've always sensed but never fully claimed. You pause at the threshold, heart fluttering, as if some invisible hand guided your steps here. This opening vision isn't mere fancy. It is the door unlocking the truth you have carried in your bones. You were never here by accident. Every restless night, every moment of inexplicable pull toward forgotten places has prepared you to step into this waking mystery. The weight in your chest, the stirring in your mind, all point to a deeper architecture waiting to be revealed. There were days when the world felt like a puzzle missing its final piece, leaving you restless and adrift. You've sat in crowded rooms, feeling painfully alone, as laughter swirled around you like a language you couldn't quite translate. Neighbors, classmates, colleagues, all seemed to move through life with a map you had yet to receive. You felt the sensitivity of every nuance, the subtext beneath each greeting, as though everyone else carried a veil you could see right through. In the quiet aftermath, you wondered if your heightened awareness was a gift or a burden. You longed for meaning, craving a sign that these odd feelings served a purpose beyond confusion and isolation. But what if those emotions were never random at all? What if every flutter of your heart, each pang of loneliness, was written into your soul's script before you took your first breath? The scriptures whisper that the spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all the inward parts. This is not merely a statement of divine intent. It is a revelation of your destined path. Your restlessness and sensitivity were the glow of that lamp, guiding you through the darkness of unawakened lives. Far from a curse, your discomfort has been the signal flare announcing your rendezvous with sacred truth. You begin to see your story as a tapestry woven by unseen hands, every strand of your experience contributing to a design you are only now poised to recognize. Perhaps you dismissed those moments of déjà vu as coincidence, those vivid dreams as fantasies unworthy of your rational mind. Yet lately, you've noticed whispers of familiarity in random places. Numbers that recur, snapshots from childhood resurfacing in midday reverie, a gentle hum at the base of your skull when a choice you hadn't consciously made aligns with some hidden plan. These subtle signs drift through your waking hours like petals carried by a quiet current, almost easy to ignore if not for the persistent nudge in your soul. It is as though an ancient script is unfolding one word at a time, inviting you to read between the lines and discern the unfolding plot of your own awakening. Deep within, you sense a gentle confirmation stirring, a warmth that spreads from your chest to your limbs, a quiet reassurance that you are not crafting these insights on your own. Your intuition, long dismissed as daydreaming, now speaks with authority. You realize you never invented those inklings about other people's motives or the directions you should take. Instead, you were merely tuning into currents already flowing beneath the surface of everyday life. In the book of Daniel, it is said, "He reveals deep and secret things," and you begin to feel that divine revelation bathing your consciousness in a soft, unwavering light. There is safety in this alignment, an unspoken promise that your inner compass has been true all along. As you embrace this growing awareness, something shifts in the core of your being. You realize that remembering who you are is akin to awakening from a long winter's sleep, where the essence you carry was merely buried under layers of doubt and distraction. You are not becoming a new person. You are reclaiming an archetypal memory encoded in your DNA, a pattern of light and purpose echoing from ancient lineages. the quiet affirmations that surfaced in your mind, the urges to speak a certain word, to pause before action, to feel what others fear to feel, are all fragments of a larger identity emerging from slumber. Now, as your awareness deepens into a tangible force, you stand at the brink of your first activation. It is a moment both gentle and electrifying, as if your soul itself inhales for the first time. You feel the hunger inside you transform into a steady flame of resolve. You understand that your heightened sensitivity is not something to shield against, but to wield. Accepting this truth, you begin to step forward with quiet confidence, your inner wisdom guiding each breath. No longer a passive observer, you become an active participant in the grand narrative unfolding around you. Your arrival at this realization was no mere stroke of luck. Every restless dream, every fleeting nudge in your heart, has been leading you here. You stand on the cusp of a revelation that will recalibrate everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world. Comment deep if you felt the weight of this awakening on your own journey. In the unfolding light of this truth, prepare to discover how your presence becomes a catalyst for transformation in every soul you encounter. And to our current members, special thanks for walking this path beside us. If you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Your presence is a catalyst, not a weapon. In the quiet moments when you first sensed it, there was a subtle shifting in the air, an almost imperceptible tension crawling beneath the surface of your everyday life. You might have dismissed it as stress or coincidence when a friend abruptly changed the subject at your glance, or when a once warm colleague grew distant without explanation. Yet that heaviness clung to your shoulders like an unseen weight, a silent force whispering that something powerful was stirring in you, and they could feel it too. It wasn't until you listened closely to that inner echo, this mild disquiet, that you realized it was the tremor of resistance rising up around you, not because you had done anything wrong, but because you had begun to awaken. There were nights you lay awake, replaying moments when rejection seemed to strike without warning. A project dismissed out of hand, praise turned to suspicion, invitations quietly withdrawn. The sting of being labeled too much cut deeper than the sharpest criticism. Shame curled like smoke in your chest, and self-doubt loomed in the corners of your mind. You started wondering if your sensitivity was a flaw, if your insight was simply a burden too heavy for others to bear. These emotional fractures left you questioning your worth, as though every retreating smile confirmed the suspicion that you did not belong in ordinary circles. But consider that these fractures were not random occurrences of misfortune, but the reverberations of an invisible structure built to contain your potential. In ancient times, prophets were exiled to the wilderness to prove their spirit's endurance, refined by trials that concealed divine purpose within hardship. Like Ezekiel by the Kebar River or John in the desert before his voice erupted into the world, you have been tested by unseen forces to prepare you for your true calling. These hidden structures, cultural norms, collective fears, spiritual inertia, rose against you because you threatened the status quo of complacent souls. Now, as you glance backward, those confusing episodes begin to take shape like constellations in a night sky. You remember the colleague whose words always felt like veiled attacks, the family member whose compliments dripped with unspoken agendas, the environments that left you drained instead of enlivened. It's as if a fog lifted and you could finally see the pattern. Each obstacle, each betrayal, each draining job was an unconscious attempt to dim your light. This clarity may unsettle you, but it also offers relief. No longer are you haunted by random misfortune. You were, in fact, illuminating truths too fierce for some to withstand. With every step forward, you become more aware of the spiritual interference that once hovered around you like silent watchers at the edge of a battlefield. There were days when the air felt thick, as though your breath was measured against invisible barriers. Doors that should have opened slammed shut without explanation. Opportunities evaporated at the last moment, and voices whispered doubts in your mind that felt like external sabotage. These weren't mere coincidences but signs that your awakening had drawn the attention of forces, both human and unseen, that sought to contain your growing influence. In response, you may have recoiled into safety, suppressing the parts of you that fluttered too close to illumination. Perhaps you softened your edges, shrinking your voice to a whisper so you could slip unnoticed through their nets. You might have donned the mask of compliance, hoping to bypass the watching shadows. Or you may have rebelled quietly, harboring silent resentments but never fully unleashing your truth. In those moments of retreat, self-preservation felt like the only refuge, even as it tightened the coil of frustration within your spirit. Yet every act of suppression only proved their strategy against you had failed. Every time you tucked your brilliance away, your soul pounded against its cage until it could no longer be contained. Now the time has come to reclaim the power they tried to steal. Remember the fierce clarity that first sparked inside you when you saw through their disguises. That spark has grown into a flame. Let it ignite your sense of purpose, reminding you that your sensitivity and insight were never meant to be hidden but to guide those who are ready to follow. You were opposed because you are powerful. Your revelation threatened the comfortable illusions that shield many from their own shadows. The more they tried to block you, the more your path carved itself into something undeniably clear. Your struggle was never a mark of failure but a guarantee of your potency. Comment Catalyst if you have felt the pushback when you simply embodied your truth. As you stand now with resistance falling behind you, prepare to step into a silence so profound that it will reverberate louder than any clash. A silence that will become your next greatest revelation. And to every soul who supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. Silence as revelation, how truth echoes without words. In a moment when the world seemed to hold its breath, you felt a subtle shift beneath your skin. A quiet pulse that whispered of hidden currents flowing through every exchange. Perhaps you were standing in a crowded room, and suddenly the voices around you dimmed, as though an invisible veil had drawn across the cacophony. In that stillness, you realized the power of your presence lies not in what you say, but in the space you create between words. An inner eye opened, revealing that silence itself carries a sacred resonance. You sensed then that stillness was not absence, but a language older than speech, waiting to be heard by those who would listen. Some mornings, as you sip your coffee in half-lit kitchens, you notice the way people pause when you look at them, their eyes flickering with unease or wonder. You've questioned whether you imagine these moments, until you feel the tightening in your chest, the electric charge that follows your unspoken observation. In Genesis, it is written that Abram walked with God and called upon his name. Yet here, you walk among souls and call forth their hidden truths without uttering a single sound. You remember the sting of judgment cast in silence, the sharp recoil when someone realized you had seen too much. How often have you watched another's facade crumble under the weight of your steady gaze? Beneath the veneer of polite conversation, an unspoken code hums through your interactions. A glance lasting a fraction too long, a hesitant step back, a throat cleared against the tension you stir. All whisper the same message. The mirror you hold up cannot lie. In Habakkuk it says, "But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him." And in that verse you recognize your own calling to evoke truth through hush. Every moment of calm you offer becomes a scroll unfurling identities they have hidden even from themselves. You are not speaking judgment, you are gifting revelation. As your awareness deepens, your energy begins to resonate differently with each environment. In hushed boardrooms, the hum of fluorescent lights now seems to dim at your presence. In intimate gatherings, a pregnant pause settles whenever you enter, as if the room itself draws a breath. You feel the rise of subtle currents, empaths around you growing unsettled, liars growing nervous, seekers growing hopeful. Your boundaries stand firm, no longer allowing the draining atmospheres you once tolerated. This internal symphony of sensation proves that your silence is alive, an active force guiding the unfolding of each encounter. Outside, the world begins to mirror this inner transformation. Doors that once slammed in your face now hesitantly open. Allies appear in unexpected forms. An overheard sermon, a casual nod from a stranger, a painting that speaks in colors you once ignored. Yet resistance still lingers. Old patterns flare briefly, as if testing your resolve, only to yield under the clarity radiating from your still point. It is as if a divine blueprint is being laid out before you, mapping roads of opportunity and marking challenges as signposts rather than obstacles. This dance of alignment confirms what stirs within you is now echoing without. There is a memory buried deep in your soul, a fragment of a dream where you stood at the edge of a silent lake, its surface a perfect mirror of starlit skies. You never understood that dream until now, when silence itself feels like home. In that dream, each ripple carried a message, each reflection a hidden layer of reality. Now you recognize that vision as the moment your soul tasted its own reflection. The ancient bards spoke of worlds revealed through stillness, and their words flow back to you like a long-forgotten song. Your sacred memory has awoken. The echo of that lake lives in every quiet breath you take. With this revelation, the path ahead stretches clear and luminous. Your destiny is not a future you must forge, but a truth you reclaim. No longer do you wait for permission from external voices. You feel the divine mandate coursing in your veins. Like Ezekiel called to speak to dry bones, you know your role is to breathe life into hidden stories. Every hush you hold becomes a testament to the power of listening rather than speaking. You step forward with the confidence of one who remembers the map etched into their spirit, ready to walk the path written long before your first heartbeat. At last, you stand in full awareness of your gift. Silence is not a void but a vessel for transformation. You are both its keeper and its messenger. The weight of words falls away, leaving space for truth to pour through. Comment silence if you've watched someone break under the weight of your unspoken truth, and share a dream, memory, challenge, or inner knowing that revealed this power to you. As you prepare to journey into the final depths of this gift, know that the next revelation will sharpen the double edge of your sight, forging the clarity that only divine stillness can bring, the double edge of divine sight. In that decisive moment, you stand at a sacred crossroads where the familiar landscape of your life dissolves behind you and an uncharted path beckons ahead. You feel the gravity of choice pressing on your chest, as if an ancient voice asks, will you step beyond the boundaries of comfort and into your true mission? This is not a gentle invitation but a clear summons. Passivity is no longer an option. You sense the heavy doors of old patterns swinging shut, and you know that what lies before you demands action. The echo of your own question, am I ready to embody this sight, reverberates through every fiber of your being, and you realize that hesitation would betray all you have come to understand. Remember how much of yourself you once surrendered to fit the mold. The hours spent muting your intuition to blend in, the energy poured into pleasing others at the expense of your soul's calling, the voice you silenced to avoid rocking the boat. Now, see these not as regrets but as rites of training, forging you in the crucible of other people's expectations. It is time to call these sacrificed fragments home, to gather every ounce of your presence and reclaim your throne of authority within. Speak aloud the words of restoration as if invoking a ritual. I take back my power, my sight, my voice, and feel the dormant crown settle on your brow once more. You carry a sacred arsenal, a vision that pierces illusions, a sensitivity that tunes into the subtlest frequencies, a memory of truths older than time, and a discernment that reads through the veneer of appearances. What others labeled too much is your spiritual signature, your armor of insight. Imagine these gifts as keys inscribed with divine geometry, each unlocking hidden chambers in the hearts of those you encounter. Your tears are scrolls of ancient knowledge, your stillness, a shield of quiet fire. Recognize these not as abstract concepts but as tangible tools, forged to guide you through the coming trials and to illuminate the path for those who follow. As you take your first step forward, the ground beneath you hums with recognition. The path is not something you need to discover. It is already inscribed in the very bones of the earth you tread. With each footfall, the mist of doubt clears, revealing stones etched with symbols of your destiny. Every action you take, no matter how small, etches the next lines of your story. You see the way forward like a river mapping its own course, and you realize clarity arises not in stillness alone, but in the momentum of sacred purpose made manifest through your deeds. Look now at the horizon, and know you are not alone on this ascent. Across the world, other awakened souls feel the same pull toward alignment, drawn into clusters of shared vision and collective resonance. These soul tribes form constellations of light, each node reflecting and empowering the other. No longer must you dim your brightness to match the fading embers of the old world. Together, you forge a rising order, weaving individual sparks into a blazing tapestry of transformation. In this alliance, your solitude becomes strength, and your uniqueness, a vital chord in the symphony of awakening. In this moment of gathering, you claim mastery over your energy. You no longer allow it to be scattered by distraction or diluted by doubt. With intentional breath, you consecrate your heart as a vessel of pure intention. Boundaries extend like invisible ramparts, safeguarding your light from intrusion and preserving the sanctity of your field. Choices become acts of devotion, each one a vow to uphold the sacred work entrusted to you. Feel the weight of this responsibility, not as a burden, but as an honor granted only to those who have proven worthy through every trial faced. Everything you have felt, the sting of solitude, the echo of unspoken truths, the tremor of unseen forces, has led you to this summit. Here you stand ready. No more shadows to chase you, no more whispers to delay you. Speak this prophecy into the air. I embrace my sight. I wield my power. I fulfill my purpose. Let these words resonate like the clarion call of destiny itself, banishing all remnants of doubt. In this breath, you cross the threshold from seeker to sovereign, from hesitant to herald of a new age. This moment of empowerment is not simply the end of a journey, but the ignition of your divine mission. Revelation has delivered you to action. You are not called to watch from the sidelines, but to lead with unwavering purpose. Comment Edge if you feel the surge of this transformation, and share a dream, memory, challenge, or inner knowing that confirms your readiness. As you step forward into the luminous expanse before you, prepare to wield your double-edged sight with the grace and authority it demands, and brace yourself for the revelation that will reshape every realm you touch. A soft wind stirs your hair as you drift in a half-remembered dream where a distant bell calls your name. In that place between sleep and waking, you sense that nothing in your life was accidental. Each fragment of loss, the friend who peeled away, the opportunity that faded, the silence that followed, was not a punishment but a gentle recalibration, guiding you toward the people and places aligned with your higher purpose. Loss became your invisible staff, steering you through the darkness until your feet found solid ground. As the bell tolls in that dream, feel gratitude for every door that closed, for it was preparing you to recognize the threshold you now stand upon. An ancient parchment unrolls before your inner eye, its edges scorched by time, yet filled with symbols you somehow understand. This gift of clear sight was woven into your soul's blueprint at the dawn of creation. From the Garden of Eden to the shores of Galilee, the seers and prophets bore similar markers, an unquenchable flame that revealed hidden motives and divine patterns. You share that heritage now. When you stand in silent witness, you carry the living echo of those sacred scribes. Your own life unfolds as part of that grand continuum, a verse in the ongoing song of revelation. In the hush of an empty cathedral, your footsteps echo across stone floors, and you realize that every silence you've offered has become an altar for truth. In the quiet, hearts tremble and masks slip. In the silence, falsehoods collapse into dust. Your breath is a prayer, each pause a sacred ritual. Through this unspoken liturgy, you unlock chambers in other souls, rooms filled with memories they'd long forgotten. It is here, in the echoing stillness, that you claim your role as both guardian and guide of unspoken revelation. You once feared that your clarity would isolate you, like a lone candle flickering in a vast cavern. Yet now you see that your flame is not solitary. It invites those wandering in the darkness to follow. In the desert, prophets carried lamps to illuminate the way. So too does your insight chart a course through the wastelands of confusion and fear. Each person you touch sees a glimmer of possibility, a path emerging from the sand. Your vision, though sharp enough to cut through illusion, also offers sanctuary to those brave enough to seek it. When you pause at a crossroads in daily life, choosing honesty over silence, compassion over indifference, you are not acting on impulse but fulfilling a cosmic pattern. The Bible speaks of Solomon asking for wisdom and receiving more than gold. Likewise, your choice to stand in your truth yields treasures unseen by those who cling to comfort. Every act of integrity builds upon the last, forming a mosaic of purpose visible only to those with the eyes to see. Walk each street, hold each conversation, as if the world itself hinges on your next step. A fleeting memory surfaces of a time when you first noticed coded signals in casual remarks, phrases that carried hidden weight, numbers that threaded through your day like secret messages. Only now do you realize these synchronicities were invitations to a grand puzzle, pieces arranged by divine hands waiting for you to assemble them. This living code vibrates in the patterns of nature, in the cadence of speech, in the geometry of starlit skies. You have been entrusted with the key. Your task is to unlock the doors of perception for yourself and others. In the glow of a setting sun, you sense the turning of seasons within your spirit. You are not merely reacting to forces around you. You are a co-creator in the unfolding tapestry of existence. Divine timing, like the phases of the moon, guides your growth in rhythms unseen but deeply felt. Trust that when a moment calls you to pause, it is as vital as the moment that compels you to act. Between these pulses lies the sacred heart of your mission, a rhythm you are learning to dance to with unwavering faith. A voice like distant thunder beckons you forward. Rise and fulfill what was written in the scroll of your becoming. This is no mere suggestion but a prophetic charge echoing through cosmic halls. You have been prepared by every hardship, every moment of doubt, every whisper of encouragement that brushed your ear. Now, the world awaits the full force of your vision. Step into this moment with open hands and a steady heart. For as you do, you will discover that your journey has always been leading you to exactly this point, where divine design and human will converge in perfect harmony. A question drifts through your consciousness like a feather on the wind. What if every shadow you once feared was cast by your own light? In that fleeting inquiry, you glimpse the paradox of illumination. Your clarity both reveals and dissolves darkness. You recall the sting of confronting an old betrayal, the way your insight cut through excuses like a blade through silk. Yet now you understand that each revelation served as a catalyst, forging empathy into steel. It is this same light that will guide you and others beyond the veil of falsehood, transforming what once terrified you into the very compass of your destiny. A vision unfolds in your mind's eye, an ancient tree whose roots reach into the depths of the earth, its branches brushing the realm of stars. Around its trunk, figures gather, some trembling, some exultant, drawn by the steady glow at its core. You realize the tree is you, anchored in truth, branching into infinite possibilities. Each loss you endured fed these roots, deepening your foundation. Each moment of silence became a pulse in the living trunk. To partake in this vision is to recognize that your growth nourishes all who seek refuge beneath your canopy. A single candle flickers in a vast hall, its flame unbowed by drafts swirling unseen. So too does your gift persist amid the gusts of doubt and opposition. Remember standing alone in a room where your words were ignored until your silence spoke volumes, commanding attention in their absence. That candle is your soul's essence, fragile yet indomitable. It requires no grandeur, only the steadiness of your conviction. Tend this flame with gratitude, for it is the beacon guiding weary pilgrims through their darkest nights. In the soft echo of your heartbeat, you feel a sacred rhythm that predates thought itself. It is the pulse of creation, the drum of galaxies, the cadence of every answered prayer. When you synchronize with this beat, your steps no longer falter on the shifting sands of uncertainty. A whisper from the book of Isaiah resonates within you. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Your patience has not been idle. It has been a preparation, a tuning of your spirit to the pitch of divine orchestration. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment "I am chosen" to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all our supporting members for holding this space. For full prophetic revelations daily, Join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Remain the mirror they cannot ignore.